found them? He found them in a ship with Zebedee, their father. They were working, these were grown men, and they are working in a business with their father. They're fishermen. They do this for a living. There was maybe a young man who decided he wanted to go into ministry. There was a young man who decided that I want to give my life to serve God in ministry and want to go start a church or go be a missionary somewhere or go do a work for God, and have his father and his mother basically oppose that and say, well, no, that's not for you. Let somebody else do that. I don't want my son living on a foreign field somewhere. You need to go to college. You need to go get an education. You need to go get a profession. You need to live in a nice house. Look, would to God that we would not be those types of fathers. Zebedee could have said, hey, we've got a good business here. Things are going well for us. I started this business. I always had a dream that my son would work with me and work for me, and that you guys would take over this business later on when I retire or when I die. And he could have given them all those reasons, but what we learned of Zebedee is that he did not stop his children. He did not give them any pressure to not serve God. He led them, and we know he was a success because he led children that served God, that he led his family, and his family served God. He provided for his family, and he worked hard. But whatever you do, you got to be setting an example for your children. Oh, I'm just a janitor. Well, then you be the best janitor that's ever lived. And you take pride in that, and you work hard at that, and you make sure that your kids see you just in every area of your life. You say, Zebedee never preached a sermon. Zebedee never led a church. Zebedee never did any of those things. But you know what? His boys did many wonderful things for God, and he will get rewarded in heaven for those. Zebedee set an example for his children and had a good reputation. And we never see him. We don't see him mentioned. But everywhere we turn, Zebedee's mentioned, Zebedee's mentioned, Zebedee's mentioned. It's sure to tell us Zebedee's boys. James, the son of Zebedee. This is Zebedee's wife. This is the mother of Zebedee's children. We need to give a good name to our children. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Because a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Zebedee led his family, and his family served God. Zebedee provided for his family, and he worked hard. Zebedee set an example for his children and had a good reputation. Zebedee was enthusiastic and passed down zeal for the things of God to his family. You know what this guy was enthusiastic? About the things of God. Your actions speak more than your words. But I remember going soul winning with my dad. I remember going soul winning with my family. I remember going to church with my family. I remember being raised in a family that tried to serve God and tried to love God and tried to teach us to serve God. And here's what I'm telling you, Dad. You better make sure you are passing down the right enthusiasm to your children. You better make sure you're setting the right example of being a hard worker that provides for your kids. You better make sure you have a good name, because it's rather to be chosen than great riches. You better make sure you're leading a family that loves the Lord and serves God. Because at the end of the day, whether we know nothing about you, whether you never live in the spotlight, whether you never have a YouTube channel with the views, whether you're never the keynote speaker at the conference, whether you're just a guy named Zebedee that people read about and read about and read about and just kind of read over his name and never really look at him, God knows he was a successful man. You know, he led his family, he served God. We know that he provided for his family and worked hard. We know that he set an example and had a good reputation. And we know that he was enthusiastic for the right things, for the things of God. Would to God, you, Dad, and me as a father, would learn to try to be